Access to justice begins with strong local leadership. Local government decisions shape our neighborhoods, schools, and the opportunities available to families. On this episode of The Domino Effect, we are joined by Commissioner Kelly Martinez Semrad to talk about how her vision for District 5, how she's addressing community challenges, and why collaboration is key to ensuring every resident has a voice, a mission we share here at the Legal Aid Society. This is The Domino Effect, where we discuss the intersection of our community's top social issues with the legal challenges impacting us all. I'm your host, Jessica Thomas. Local leadership plays a vital role in shaping the future of our community. Today, we are joined by Commissioner Kelly Martinez Semrad, the newly elected representative for District 5. Commissioner Martinez Semrad has been a strong advocate for community engagement, transparency in government, and policies that put residents first. Her work reflects a deep commitment to ensuring that every voice is heard and that progress benefits all. We're excited to welcome her to the Domino Effect to learn more about her journey into public service and what drives her work. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming today.
You're welcome.
Commissioner, fancy. Tell me what led you there.
All right. Commissioner
Fancy.
does sound fancy.
Right?
And usually when I just talk to people, I'm like, it's just Kelly. Just call me Kelly.
Just Kelly.
Yeah, because my road was, it was not a formalized path that a lot of other people pursue in terms of getting into politics. I'm a UCF teacher, and I specialize in tourism economies. And for many years, I've traveled the world trying to use tourism to help alleviate poverty, or to use tourism to help save a natural resource, or to even try to bring peace between nations to use tourism. And until you become a mom yourself, you don't really pay attention much to like what's really here for the next generation, except for like through the eyes of my students at UCF at that time. And I was attending a UCF graduation, and I was happening to be reading the most recent economic report on wages. And our wages ended up falling into the lowest wages in the entire nation.
Wow.
And I remember thinking in my head, I would never want to graduate my kids into the lowest wage economy. And it was just seconds after that I heard the name of one of my students walk across the stage to get his diploma. And being so proud of him and his journey, I knew him personally. And then I thought to myself, why am I okay graduating anybody's child into the lowest wage market? And maybe I have a special skill set that I can give back to the next generation, which includes my children as well.
Wow.
So it was that moment, and then coupled with, I've been an environmentalist my whole life. And just seeing that our environment doesn't get enough wins, and the environmental, as that deteriorates, so does the health of the next generation. So again, protecting and leaving green space, clean water to our next generation that comes after us.
Now that is a monumental motivational way of getting into politics, which I'm sure so many people would think is like the opposite, right? The antithesis of all the wonderful work that you are committed to doing. How are you kind of overcoming what may be that stereotype of what people think when they think of politicians? How do you overcome that?
I tell people like this was my Hail Mary to make a difference, because I was starting to think, hey, maybe this isn't the community for me long term with little kids. And so I am, and my team, I think that the District 5 team, or the family that we have in that office, is the best. We are feet on the ground. We're knocking on doors in our community. We're at community meetings. We host forums. We do town halls. And I'm trying to break that barrier down to say, I'm a regular person. I'm a mom. I'm a working mom. As much as I like to say that working one job should be enough, I work two jobs, and so many other people do. but we're in the community because I'm looking at it as though we're only guaranteed 4 years to try to make a difference. And I'm going to maximize every minute of that 4 years just to, even if you only make a difference to one, you made a difference that wouldn't have happened if I didn't, decide to go down to the supervisor of elections and, file to run. So I hope that just people seeing me and our team in the community, that they see this is a person just like us. She's just rolling up her sleeves in a different way to try to make a difference.
You bring up a great segue about rolling up your sleeves. It goes to kind of what is a commissioner? What do they do? Kind of what can they do? Can you tell our viewership a little bit about that?
So the job of a commissioner is really defined by our county charter, which is like our constitution. And in there, it kind of gives the general job description of what a commissioner should be doing, which is primarily your public safety, making sure that people are safe, looking at land use decisions, your public services, like your garbage, pickup, roadways, things that make your regular day that you may not even notice, your water, where your sewer goes, things like that. And primarily for Orange County commissioners, that functions in the space of unincorporated Orange County. So if you don't live in a city like Orlando City, so Orange County commissioners are covering those people that are living in unincorporated areas, but as well as we provide advocacy and representation for those in the cities and municipalities. And it's interesting because I ran on that job premise of like job safety, economic development and growth and affordable housing that we so desperately need, and keeping our environment clean, And but in today's world, we see that we're getting phone calls in services that I don't think we used to see so much in the past, at least from my experience in being engaged in government before and talking to previous commissioners, is the unhoused population.
Really?
And really combating homelessness. And that's, the face of homelessness is so different. It's not the scruffy man that you see standing on the corner, but these are like your teachers, that have a master's degree, that fell in a couple hard months of, maybe a car broke down and a family member was sick, to your veterans, to even our children in Orange County Public Schools, and knowing that 7,000 of them don't have homes where they're living.
When we say our unhoused community, I think that's, you're right on the money for people who maybe don't know that is such a huge issue right now. Let's say that people are right there on the cusp, but you and I know it's that paycheck to paycheck. If they're right there on that cusp, what do they do? What kind of resources can they look to their commissioner? Do they pick up the phone? Hey, you mentioned kind of roadway, you mentioned garbage, but for those really struggling in that financial realm, what are some of the resources that are available? Is it connecting them with, community partners? How does that work?
So I'm really glad you asked, because I think that we've reached a point in time where it's no longer, we can't rely on the churches to solve this. We can't depend on the 501c3s to solve this. At this point in time, we need everybody to work together, and that's going to include the government. And the government needs to put forward a foot to find the resources that are necessary in order to provide opportunities to transitional housing and affordable housing. And right now, what people can do if they are on that brink, right? I mean, they can pick up their phone and they can call District 5.
Okay.
And District 5 may not be their commissioner, but we can get them put into the right direction. We can connect them to people. We can connect them to services. And we can, as best we're able, go through the process with them to make sure that they're not a family that's on the streets.
I love that, because a lot of what we see is the people already in the thick of it. But if we can have some prevention, to your point, then maybe we don't get to that really destitute situation. Talk to me a little bit about, if they don't know which commissioner is theirs, where do you look that up? How do you even find that out?
Yeah, so we have an Orange County Board of County Commissioners, or BCC website. You enter your address in there. The quickest way, honestly, is just a fast Google search. Who's my Orange County Commissioner? Okay. And the name will pop up. But of course, Orange County government, it's at ocfl.net. All of our information is available there. They can go to kellysemrad.com. We have also an address search that you can find out who your commissioner is. But we take calls from everybody. We take calls from people in the city, people in different areas, just trying to help connect people to resources that they might not know exist.
Wow. Well, I am loving talking to you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a brief break and we'll be right back. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. We'll be right back with more of the Domino Effect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Welcome back to the Domino Effect. We've talked about the commissioner's vision. Now let's turn to some of the key issues facing District 5. Now, I think the first question is and I know it's really specific, but can you give me a generality of what covers District 5?
Yes, District 5 is a really big district in Orange County. It takes about two-thirds of the county. So it goes from College Park, Maitland, Winter Park, down Baldwin Park area, down to downtown Orlando, UCF area, Colonial Town, Union Park area, all the way out to Christmas, Bithlo, and the Brevard County line with Wedgefield. So it covers all of the rural east and a big chunk of the city, Winter Park, Maitland, and
how many constituents?
We each have about the same amount. It
Really?
ranges. Yep. So we're at about 260,000 constituents. But we're going through a redistricting process that they just finished. We're getting 2 new districts per the mandate of voters' constitutional reform last November. Wanted to have 2 additional districts, so we have those 2, and the maps were just produced last night, and the Board of County Commissioners will be voting on those in the coming weeks.
Wow, 260,000 people? I'm sorry. Again, for the person who doesn't know, that is a lot of people who all come to you. That's District 5.
Right.
Coming and saying, I need a speed bump. Give me, the top 5. What are your top 5 calls you're getting?
Homelessness.
Okay.
The number one, housing related issues.
Where do I stay? I don't have anywhere to stay.
Yeah, I have nowhere to go. I'm being evicted. What are the, what can we do? Trouble paying bills, utility bills. That's the second one. And then of course land use, which is the call from the builders and the developers and looking to get approval to build in certain areas. And then just general constituent services, my trash didn't get picked up today, to something else. And then the other one that has snuck up on something that we have never heard of before is people looking for immigration services and being stressed and not knowing where exactly they need to go. Very similar to the housing, being stressed. We don't know where to go, what are the resources, and trying to help navigate them through that local process.
Wow. That is a lot of people. You mentioned your staff and how you guys are like a family. Is it 100 people? Do you have a staff of 100 people? Because I feel like that's what you need for 260,000 residents.
Right. So each district commissioner's office has ability to set up their own staff. We have a total of family members, myself included, of 7. So 6. That includes some interns that are in there part-time and then full-time. But we do have help because there's those municipalities. So like Maitland and Winter Park, the city, they have that overlying layer of government that helps. And it's interesting because you asked another, what is another issue that people are calling in about? And in District 5 specifically, it's access to clean water.
Really? What does that mean?
So in areas like Bithlo, their water has been contaminated in years past because they're still on septic and well out there.
Okay.
And they have a lot of industrial, what would be like scrap yards, dump yards. And so those have gone down into the ground and contaminated wells in that area. So getting them access to water that is safe and drinkable. To people who live in Wedgefield that depend upon a private water plant, and that private water plant's level of service and quality of the water is not equitable to that of Orange County residents. and it's 3 times the rate as well. So they get water bills that are about $400, and then they will contact us and say, I can't pay this bill, but I also can't afford to live without water. What do I do?
Wow. So how are you navigating that? Is it just a lot of your community partners to try to mitigate that? Or how does that work kind of long term?
Yeah, well, I got to give props to where they're due. So the previous commissioner, Commissioner Emily Bonilla, is the one who initiated that. And then that has been going through the process. I caught it on the other side of when I started working. But Orange County Utilities has been great just to see, like, can we acquire the private system? What would that pathway be? The Board of County Commissioners just took a vote because it's really not financially feasible for the community to be able to come up with, it's about an $84 million ask. So it's not feasible. So to have Florida government utilities to step in, FGUA, and that process has begun. So hopefully we will have meaningful results soon for the community.
You know, I tell people consistently, unless you've lived something, you have no idea what's going on outside of your little bubble. Who would have known that clean water in 2025 in America, in Florida, in our community is an issue?
It's an issue, yes.
Wow. You mentioned that huge amount of money. You know, I want people to understand who are watching this, and I mentioned this to you a little bit on the break, that people think you guys as politicians are millionaires. You know, there's that stereotype of a fat cat type of like imagery. Are you a millionaire making all this money as a commissioner? Is that why you got into it, Commissioner?
No. I wish that we were all millionaires working in government, and unfortunately it doesn't work like that. So many government employees are, I mean, they're working below market wage. If they went and they worked in the private sector, they'd make triple the salary. People are there because they're trying to make a difference. They're trying to give back to their community in a different way that they're capable of doing. So no, I'm not a millionaire. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm still a teacher at UCF. I'm a full-time mom, and my husband works. You know, we are a working family and very much impacted by, you know, so many of the other things that impact families, from expensive grocery bills to a family member that just needs help, and so you help them, but it means you sacrifice in other places. You know, life is expensive, and a lot of families are struggling, and mine has for sure seen its fair square of struggles as well.
When you talk about kind of, you know, this choice that you made and what you bring to the table, I mean, obviously Orlando is huge, right, for tourism. Have you really already been able to kind of implement some of those plans of action?
That's going to take us some time. It becomes, I'm trying to right now really try to look at resourceful ways to tax the 75 million people who don't live amongst us. They are our tourists and visitors, and to get them to pay for a mass transit system that would be functional for all of us, you know, along the urban core, get people to, like, hopefully we can get to where we're not a car-dependent society. And I'm really hoping that that doesn't have to come from our taxpayers' money, but that we can find a resourceful way to raise those funds, to develop the system, and to support it so that tourists benefit as well as local residents. So we're making progress, but there's about a half a century years worth of policy and protocol to, you know, get that change. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we will get there.
I want to hear so much more about that. I appreciate your candor and your honesty for us and for our viewers. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here. We'll be right back. We will be right back after this short break. Stay tuned for more insights.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
In our final segment, we're talking about leadership and the future with Commissioner Martinez Semrad. Leadership is never done alone. So, Commissioner, it isn't done alone, and it takes some time.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times, you mentioned earlier that you have like a 4-year span that you know you can give as much as you can, you and your team. Is that a common misconception that people think government works overnight?
Yeah, I think that, and my own misconception too, because I think, I'm going to come into office, I'm energized, I'm ready, I'm going to go. And then you realize everything has a process, everything has a form. And in first impression, you feel like, this is not resourceful, this is not efficient. But then once you realize that the reason you have all of those is because you're dealing with real people's money. I mean, it's your money, it's my money, it's all of our money together, and documenting that and making sure that we spend that in the most efficient ways, trying to impact the most amount of people as we can, is really important. And that's the reason why things move slower than what you would expect, and it takes a whole team. So there's tons of staff that are doing a process in each one of those. So systematic changes, I'm learning the length of time it takes.
That patience is a virtue with politics.
It is, yeah.
Now, I think when we talk about, you being there for the everyday person, another thing that you mentioned kind of is traffic, is that's your realm as well, right?
Yes.
Give me some examples. I pick up the phone, I say, I think we need a stoplight over here, or this, is missing a stop sign, like that.
Oh, yeah. So, when we do development decisions, I've also learned at the board that each development, like housing subdivision, is kind of done in a silo. So they look at it like it's right here. But what they didn't necessarily consider is that it's directly lined up with the subdivision right here across. And so the people who used to be able to get out are now stuck. So that might trigger a need for a stoplight. But the expense of a stoplight, you would never imagine, is as much money as it actually costs. Getting safe sidewalks up and down, areas, and making sure that they're connected. Those are the types of comments. But we get, speeding is a concern around school zones, and we just did a project to look at the school zones that were most dangerous in District 5, and will now have picture-ready cameras for people that are speeding through school zones, so that we can slow people down, because our population has grown, the number of cars has grown, and the number of kids trying to walk to and from school has grown, and they require additional safety. So we're excited about those cameras.
Wow, I am too. Now, when you said mass transit, I always try to break it down on Domino Effect for our viewers who maybe don't know what that means. Like, mass transit means what?
So mass transit, I look at it as more of like a multimodal. So you could have buses, you can have train, you can have the high-speed scooters, the bicycles, pedestrians. Right now we've got the most dangerous roads in the nation for pedestrians and bicyclists. So we want to improve things like that, and we have the ability to do it. We just need to generate a pot of money in order to do it. And I think a great way to do that is, again, we get 75 million tourists. Being creative and coming up with ways to charge a couple pennies, from tourists on the dollar for transportation. I think that would be great. And I think, I know my family would love to jump on a local train to get to a local farmer's market and back home, or to feel safe enough to go for a nice family bike ride on, using our roads. So it reduces our cost of living. It's better for the environment.
I was just thinking that.
It's a win for our community.
I think your knowledge of economics and environment is just fantastic. It's bar none. A lot of times you really want people who bring something to the table in government. Let's say that I'm a young kid, I'm out here, and I have a skill set, and I say, there's something I want to bring to the table. What would you say to them? What would you encourage them to do?
Call District 5.
Come intern right now.
Come to District 5. No, but if you have a young person that has that and actually knows to reach out to their local government, Somebody made a win somewhere, either the parenting or a teacher or a mentor told them to do the right thing, because right now we really need the next generation to engage in community. I think that a lot of our electronic devices have allowed us to disengage. So we need them to engage with community, but also to pursue leadership roles in your community, which is your local government. It's the closest layer of government to you. And people think that the federal government really impacts your quality of life, and it does. But your local layer of government, they decide if that development should be built that might add way more traffic to your road. They're the ones who are looking after your public education. They're the ones that are, doing your sidewalks, picking up your trash, getting you clean water, making sure your sewer is functional, doing your landfill. These are the ones that really impact every facet of the normal daily operations of our life. And if your local government fails, your communities start to fail. So anybody who is young, eager, and has ideas to share, the world is changing faster than we can keep up. And I really implore their effort then to reach out to the local government, because they can make a difference and they'll see it work. They will make a difference at the local level and actually see it with their eyes, like, wow, I made a difference. And that feels very good to be a part of that.
100%, 100%. I tell people a lot, I do family law and a lot of my pro bono through Legal Aid Society. You feel it. You get to see it right then. Someone right then telling you thank you. And I can only imagine those calls you're fielding of someone saying, thank you so much. I didn't know where I was going to sleep tonight. That's incredible. Now, what about those who want to reach out to you if they say, hey, I have a problem, a qualm? Is it a telephone call? Is it an email? Is there a physical office? How are the logistics?
Yes, at District 5, we really pride ourselves in accessibility and making sure that we are accessible. So anybody is always welcome to come up to the Orange County Administrative Building at 201 South Roseland. You come up to the 5th floor. You don't need an appointment. You can say, I would like to see District 5 Commissioner, and you can come on in. Somebody from our team is going to take you and meet you. You can pick up the telephone and you can call us. It's a real person that answers that phone. We don't do voicemail or anything like that. You can send an email to the District 5 email. It's me on the other side of that and all of the staff members. So we have social media as well that people can access from. We're always out and about in the community. We're at the local farmers markets. We're in festivals. We're tabling. We have satellite office hours as well to increase our accessibility. So myself and Gabe Gomez in our office, we go out and we do actual office hours all across District 5 so that we can, for people that maybe couldn't get here and really needed face-to-face time, that there is a face for them to sit with and to try to navigate through hard times.
Wow. I commend you. Again, public service is not for the faint of heart. Yeah. What would you say, you've been a commissioner now for how long?
Since December.
So since December.
About 9 months.
Tell me what's your favorite part so far?
My absolute favorite part, so I love what I'm doing. And the reason why I love it is it goes back to something that I said is that your effort is 100% recognized in a product that you did with a team to try to make a difference for somebody else. Even trying to make a difference for our dogs in our Orange County Animal Shelter. Making a difference to save a wetland. It's just when you advocate with a community and you see that people are more alike than they are different, and that together you can really make a difference for a lot of people, it recharges you, and life is hard. So you need to find opportunities to recharge, and what I'm finding through public service is that one person or that one family you could make a difference for, I think has the ability to recharge for a lifetime. And so I feel very honored to be in my position.
Wow. I don't think we can top that, Commissioner.
Yeah.
You have truly given our viewers so much information, so many resources. I hope they reach out to you. District 5 is very lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. I'm Jessica Thomas, and this is the Domino Effect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
For over 60 years, the Legal Aid Society has provided legal representation to clients on issues like those discussed in today's episode. Our mission is to ensure that every member of our community, regardless of income, has access to high-quality legal support and justice. If you're facing a legal issue, don't hesitate to reach out to the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association by calling 407-841-8310. As a nonprofit law firm, we rely on dedicated volunteers and generous donations to continue our work. To learn how you can get involved, visit legalaidocba.org. Thank you for watching The Domino Effect, and remember, perpetual goodness goes a long way. Until next time.